ആക്ടിന്റെ ബെനിഫിറ്റ് മുൻപൻ ജനങ്ങളുടെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളെ പരിഹരിക്കാൻ പാടില്ല എന്ന് അവരുടെ ഒരു ഗൂഢാലോചന. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇതിനെപ്പറ്റിയെല്ലാം നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും അക്കംപ്ലിഷ്ഡ് ക്യാബിനറ്റ് മിനിസ്റ്റർ, ബുദ്ധിസ്റ്റ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി എന്ന് വരുന്ന ക്യാബിനറ്റ് മിനിസ്റ്റർ കിരൺ റിജിജുജി ഇന്ന് സംസാരിക്കും. ഈ നുണയന്റെ രാഷ്ട്രീയത്തിനെ എല്ലാവരെയും എക്സ്പോസ് ചെയ്ത് ഇന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം സംസാരിക്കും. അതുകൊണ്ട് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് റിക്വസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. നമസ്കാരം, നന്ദി.
Thank you very much, my friend and the state BJP president, Rajiv Chandrasekharji, and my colleague in the Ministry of Minority Affairs, George Kurianji, and all the senior BJP leaders of Kerala. We are meeting here in Kochi, and I'm very happy to be here again. Last month, before the parliament session, I had come to Thiruvananthapuram for an event. Today I have come for an issue which is extremely crucial, important and sensitive. Land is the most precious thing for all of us. Many countries also go to war because of a piece of land. Land we consider motherland. So piece of land is most valuable for human being. If you lose your land, then you lose everything. That is why we have considered that in India there should not be any provision for anybody to forcefully and unilaterally take away somebody's land. We must make laws which must protect every inch of land for their rightful honor. We brought this amendment for the provisions which were there in the 1995 Waqf Act, which had given unprecedented powers and authorities to the Waqf boards. You just imagine under section 40 of the Waqf Act, the state Waqf boards can declare any property as Waqf property, and once it is confirmed by the tribunals, even there is no option of going to the courts. Going to the courts was only available under writ petition, which you all know. Writ is a very limited window, which is a discretionary in nature, which doesn't change the facts. It just get into the issue of the law, not of the facts. That is why we thought we must give justice to the thousands and thousands of people who have lost their rightful claim, their ownership on their particular lands. This is not related to or targeted to Muslim alone. There are some campaign going on to set a narrative that the central government is working against Muslim community. No. We are here to correct the mistakes done in the past and to provide justice to the needy people. Let me also remind that it is not only other communities, not only Christian communities, but crores and crores of Muslim women, the poor Muslims, the destitutes, they are also deprived of the benefits which they should have got from the Waqf properties. I had mentioned this in the parliament also. India has the largest Waqf properties in the world. And in India also, within the country, Waqf properties are largest. Don't compare with railway properties and defense. Railway properties is for public use. Defense is for the defense of the nation. So, privately owned properties, managed by the private people. It is the Waqf properties which is the largest in the world. And despite that, majority of the Muslim community are also not getting benefits. That is why I am making the point very clear from the beginning that it is not targeting any community. When it comes to individual cases, we have got thousands and thousands of representations, the injustice done to many groups and individuals. One of the such cases was the Munambam case. The Munambam case came to our notice some time back, and our state president Rajiv Chandrasekharji and the Kerala BJP team came to Delhi, and the matter was brought before me. Then when I had gone through the Munambam case, I was deeply upset. The 600 fishermen, the innocent people, who have paid the money from their hard-earned money, they paid for the land. They have settled everything. They have started paying taxes to the government for the land. And suddenly, the Kerala State Waqf Board decided and declared the Munambam land, 404 acre of valuable land, as the Waqf property. That is how the tragedy of the Munambam came before us, and the people of the country learned about the injustice done to those 600 fishermen. They are farmers, fishermen, they are innocent people. So, looking at such injustices and such pains of the people, Narendra Modi government decided to bring amendment to the present Waqf Act. Without going into the details, first of all, we strike down the Section 40. No authority in India should have this kind of uncontrolled, unprecedented authority to declare any property as Waqf property. This is unconstitutional. So we strike down. Now onwards, such cases like Munambam matter, there will be no arbitrary declaration of any property as Waqf property. The survey commissioner, which worked in tandem with the Waqf boards, have been removed. Now, all the surveys to be conducted by the collector will be fully authorized to assess as per the documentation available with the government records. We have found that it is the survey commissioner, Waqf boards and mutawalis who were working in close coordination, taking care of their personal interest and declaring the land as Waqf properties. From 2013 to 2025, more than 18 lakhs of properties were claimed. And we have realized that if we don't intervene now, then people will start losing their rightful ownership of the land. Remember, once a waqf means always a waqf. If we don't change the law, any property declared as a waqf property cannot be reversed. Permanently, it is in the name of Allah and dedicated for the purpose which is mentioned as religious, pious and charitable. So that cannot be reversed. So as a responsible government in the country, we had to take these very important steps. And we passed this act after thorough discussion, and we hope in the future we will not see the case like Munambam issue. Now, referring to some of the points, I want to quickly point out. After removal of the Section 40, we also removed the Waqf by user provision. That means, as per the earlier provision, anybody, any Muslim or any non-Muslim can declare any property as being used by his ancestor for any purpose, or they used to do namaz or some other purpose, without any document, report and claim about that particular portion of the land and declared it as Waqf property through the state Waqf boards. Waqf by user is a very dangerous provision. It doesn't require any document. Just imagine. By user means you just have to tell that some 100 years back, 1,000 years back, this particular place was used for some purpose, and then the particular piece of land is declared Waqf property. So we remove that Waqf by user. Henceforth, if any property has to be declared as Waqf property, it must be through a deed of declaration. You can't make oral declaration. So it is compulsory that the property must have document, valid document, registered document, and then only the Waqif, means the one who declares the Waqf, can do it as per his own wish. That is in the provision, it is a new provision we have inserted. Section 3R, subclause 4. Now, any property which are under disputes, like the Munambam case, any property which is under dispute or under legal proceedings, means which is sub judice, cannot be settled as Waqf property. It will be, if it is under legal proceedings, then it will be decided by the court. Of course, we cannot take away the power of the courts, so it will be decided by the courts. But new declaration will not be allowed. Then we had this section 36 1A and section 36 clause 7. The verification of the property has to be done by the collector. I had mentioned earlier, it used to be done by the survey commissioner. The survey commissioners had their own interest. Now it is the district collector who will now see the genuineness of the application or any matter which is in question, and then the Waqf deed is a mandatory provision, and registration of any Waqf requires a valid Waqf deed. Without that, registration cannot happen. Many of the Congress and the communist MPs were saying that why should this authority should be given to the collector? The authority should be remain with the survey commissioner. We were very clear. The survey commissioners, Waqf boards and mutawalis, they all were working in tandem, which caused so much of miseries and pains to the innocent people. So we have categorically stated that collector doesn't belong to anybody. An IAS officer doesn't belong to political party. And in any way, the collectors, he is a revenue officer. He has been dealing with the revenue matter. So that is why the authority should remain with the collector. And then collector will always do justice. Now, we have made another provision that the person who creates Waqif has to be a practicing Islam for at least 5 years. In 2013, the Congress government, the UPA government made this dangerous provision that anybody can create Waqf. If you get yourself converted to Muslim, you create Waqf and then you can show anything. I mean, there was no check and balance. So we said, as per the Islamic law, as per the Sharia law, if you are dedicating your property in the name of Allah, you can do it. But you can do with the property which you own. You can't just create Waqf property on any piece of land. So these are very strict provisions we have inserted in the new Waqf Act. And then, if there are issues with the tribunals, some of the tribunals, we have changed provisions in the composition of the tribunal also. The appeals against tribunal orders now can be filed before the High Court anytime. As I mentioned earlier, it used to be under special writ petition, it was allowed. Now anybody can go and file before the High Court. And we have changed the composition of the entire work boards, councils, and the tribunals. I will give you one example. Work disputes can be with anybody. For example, Munambam issue. The fishermen can be Hindus, can be Christians, can be anybody. Now they are saying, the CPM, the Communist Party and Congress people are saying, the work board must be constituting of only Muslims. Now if it is a matter between Muslims, then okay, it can be only Muslims sitting on the board. But dispute can be with anybody. The dispute can be from any religious background. So in the board, we have made provisions that even non-Muslims also can be made member in the board. However, majority will remain with the Muslims. We are not taking away the authority of the Muslims. In the state work boards, majority non-Muslims can be 3. And in the Central Work Council, which is headed by me in the present time, we will have maximum 4 non-Muslims. And we are not picking up anybody to put there. We will be putting those people who know the Islamic laws, who are well aware of the provisions and the legalities, an experienced person, the scholars, so that the feedbacks from those scholarly people to be made members in the boards and the council can be of useful. So that is why you can imagine, as a genuine citizen of India, if a dispute arises between parties of different religious background, how can you make the board constituting of only one particular religious group? So that is why we have made it much more inclusive and also broad-based. And then, of course, there will be lots of issues, especially I'm going to Munambam this evening. I will be meeting the people, I will be listening to them. Now, some of the issues which I want to highlight is this Munambam issue, which I had gone through briefly, the multiple change of the ownership in the past. But one important issue which I want to highlight is there was this Muhammad Siddiqui Said. He had transferred a particular property to Farooq College. Now, as per the Islamic law and Islamic practice, once you create a waqf, it cannot be transferred. Now, he has transferred the particular property to the college. Once it is transferred, then that particular property is no more waqf. However, because of the provisions containing there in the old act, the High Court had given a ruling. So now, as a minister, I will not say that the High Court order is redundant. I have to honor the judicial pronouncement, but it is challengeable in the Supreme Court. And I would strongly urge that because of the provisions in the old act, it was disadvantageous to the Munambam people, the fishermen. Now with the existing new act, new provisions, with the supporting provisions which we have made, now it is easily challengeable in the Supreme Court. Because it is sub judice, that is why I am not making direct comment of giving a particular status, because it is in a way sub judice, because there are cases filed in the courts. So the recourse which is available to the innocent farmers, the fishermen, is to approach to the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, after this passing of the new act, we are 100% sure and guaranteed that such Munambam case will not happen again in India. It cannot happen because we have made the provision clear and strong. Nobody should suffer like the way our innocent fishermen of Munambam have suffered. The pains, the agony, the difficulties they've endured for such a long time. Anybody can feel it. After paying the amount, after paying the taxes, they had to suffer so much. So we have made a very strict effort. Now I would like to request the state government of Kerala. We are in a federal structure. The spirit of federalism is very clear. We have made the law. As a Minister for Minority Affairs and as the Chairman of the Central Waqf Council, we will issue certain directions and certain suggestions to the state government to carry out certain steps. We are in the process of formulation of the subordinate legislation. When an act is passed, you have to frame the rule. So we are doing it. It is in the process. We would urge the state government to immediately ask the concerned district collector to revisit the entire status which were conducted by the survey commissioner. The district collector must go and re-look into the entire matter to provide justice to the Munambam fishermen. And also, state government should support all necessary things to ensure that the justice is given to the innocent farmers. From the central government side, I will provide all documentation and necessary legal and administrative support. And I will also direct my officers to provide all necessary assistance to ensure that the fishermen of the Munambam get their rightful claim and ownership of the land which belong to them. Because of the politics, innocent people have suffered. During the course of discussion and outside also, I had appealed to the MPs of Kerala, before you oppose the Waqf Amendment Bill, please think about the sufferings and the pains of the 600 families of Munambam. These 600 fishermen have been appealing to everyone. So I told the people of Kerala that please put pressure to the Congress and the Communists, the LDF and the UDF, both the groups. Don't play vote bank politics. Please take a genuine and very rational step. I appeal to them, and in the floor of the House, I also made ardent appeal to them that please vote and support and ask your conscience. Don't play vote bank politics. Then some of the Congress and the Communist MPs are open. They said Munambam issue is a small issue. They can settle it. Has it been settled? They openly said that no, why Minister, you should worry about Munambam case. It's a small matter in Kerala, we will settle it. How can they lie and they dismiss the suffering of the people in such frivolous manner? And then I also told them, forget politics, think about justice. Then many Congress and the Communist MPs are saying that Muslim vote bank is larger the Christians are smaller. And they even went on to say that the Christians and the Hindus, they don't vote en bloc. They're always divided. The Muslims vote en bloc to them, and that is why they have to protect their vote bank. Then I had warned them, don't treat any community as their vote bank. And I'm telling to our Muslim brothers and sisters, don't become the vote bank of the Congress party and the communist. Once you become a vote bank, you are treated like commodities. So the Congress and the communists, they said that they care more about the Muslim vote bank. They are, in a way, mistreating the Muslims. If there are poor among the Muslims, who is responsible for that? Who ruled Kerala? Kerala has been ruled alternatively by these two groups, the LDF and UDF, the Congress and the Communist. And in the center, Congress ruled for nearly 60 years. So they are responsible for it. If any community is poor, it is them. So I had made an appeal to the Muslim community also. Don't become the vote bank for the communists and the Congress. The country is suffering. Any society will suffer if you treat the community as vote bank. We are working with an open heart. We want to provide justice. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has from the day one said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. We will take everybody along. But they are busy painting BJP, RSS for all wrongdoings. They want to scare the Muslims and the Christians. They want to paint the BJP as a demon. Now, majority of the people in the country are supporting Narendra Modi's leadership. We are in our third term. That globally, people are conferring the Honorable Prime Minister Modi with highest decor, highest awards, recognition. The Reverend Pope had spoken so well about Prime Minister Modi when they met. The entire global community are recognizing the good work of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And these people, they want to scare the people about BJP by spreading all rumors, all fake news, all fake narratives. So Kerala people are not only innocent, but very educated, very learned people. How long these people will misguide the people of Kerala by spreading false narrative and misleading the innocent people? It is time that we must make course correction. Kerala people are educated and they are found everywhere. But I know the situation here, how the central government's all-out efforts are being underutilized by the Kerala government. All major steps taken for the farmers, for the railway projects, the highways, majority of the projects, especially the infrastructure projects, are unutilized. The individual schemes people are getting, last month when I came from my ministry, Ministry of Minority Affairs, there are lots of welfare schemes for Muslims and the Christians. I'm very happy that wherever there is a direct intervention, people are getting benefit. Wherever state government's help is required, people are not getting the benefits. So as a man in charge of the Ministry of Minority Affairs, I assure especially the Muslim and Christian community who are defined as a minority communities in our country. There are 6 minority communities as per the notification: Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, and the Parsis. Parsis are the smallest. Only 52,000 Parsis are left in our country. We are making program to enhance the population of the Parsis. So what I want to say is Kerala is a very progressive state, but because of the misgovernance of the both Congress and the communists, majority of the youth are forced to go out of India or elsewhere in search of good job. if there is a smart, educated young people in Kerala, it's because of their hard work. But they are not given proper employment and opportunities in the state, forcing them to go out of the country. Otherwise, Kerala is the most literate state in our country. We are proud of the beauties and the potentials of Kerala state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has come so many times to Kerala, and he has already yes. So I will, my colleague who was earlier minister in the central government and made the president of the Kerala BJP, under his leadership and all our efficient leaders sitting here, we will assure you that whatever the Kerala people deserve, we will fulfill their rightful, whatever they deserve, we are going to provide everything, whatever is possible. And I will come back again, and on this Munambam issue, I'm going to meet the farmers, the fishermen, and then till the end, we will follow up. We will ensure that they get the justice. So, I'm happy that you all have come. I think most of the cases I have covered. I don't want to make it very lengthy by talking so many provisions in the Act, because I want to confine it to the relevant provisions for the state of Kerala, particularly the Munambam issue. Thank you very much.
ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രിയോട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കാനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ
Could you please clarify that you have already said that the Burma people will have to appeal to the Supreme Court. Currently the matter is pending before the tribunal. Again, the petitions are pending before the High Court.
The review is only related to High Court. If High Court passes an order, that order can be challenged.
The question of whether the Burma property is a Waqf or not has been disputed before the tribunal.
Yes.
So that matter is pending before the tribunal.
Yeah.
So how can a resident of the Munambam bypass all the legal procedures and go straight to Supreme Court?
You have to make it very clear. If the matter is with the tribunal will be reconstituted now. The state Waqf boards and the tribunals will be reconstituted because we have changed the composition. Earlier only Muslims can be there. So now tribunal, there will be 3-member tribunal, and both sitting district judge and the retired judge can be member of the tribunals. So the tribunal will be reconstituted and the state Waqf boards will be reconstituted. Anything pending with the tribunal can be reappealed. What I referred is if High Court has, because there is a ruling of the High Court. So the High Court order can be challenged in the Supreme Court.
Currently the matter is pending before the tribunal. You can't just take, you can't
No.
constitute the tribunal and take it away from that.
That is why I am making it very clear that Supreme Court case was in reference to the High Court. There was observation of the High Court about the status of whether there is a Waqf or not.
That question is being currently tried by the tribunal.
High Court order cannot be reversed by the tribunal. With regards to the status.
What you are mentioning too is just a passing reference that was passed by the bench.
Yeah.
And the question of whether it's a tribunal or not didn't come up before the...
Yeah, that I have made it clear. No? Tribunal will be reconstituted. So I will also pass a direction from the central government. There is a provision that I will tell you the provision number. There is a provision in the Act where central government, I can pass a direction to the state Waqf board and state government to act in a particular manner. I just forgot the section 9. Section 9. Yeah.
1 second. ഞാൻ clarify ചെയ്യട്ടെ. Minister പറഞ്ഞത്, in the event there is an adverse order in the High Court, you do not have to only rely on a narrow writ jurisdiction to go to any appeals court. Here you have the right to appeal.
No, that was not what he said.
No, I'm not.
That's not what he said.
No. What is the controversy? What is the point you're making?
No, ma'am, my question is very clear.
Yeah.
Since the matter Munambam issue is pending before the Waqf Tribunal, two questions are being tried before the tribunal. That is, enlisting the Burma property as a Waqf property by the board is questioned, and the registration of the Waqf property has been questioned. So naturally, the appeal lies with the High Court.
Yeah.
And then even after completing the High Court procedure, only you can go to the Supreme Court.
That is why I said.
You can't go straight to the Supreme Court, right?
What that I have made it very clear. Since the tribunals and the boards will be reconstituted because we have changed the composition, so after if a person doesn't get justice from the tribunal, the appeal to the High Court is open. If you remember what I have said. Earlier the appeal was restricted. Review is, it's a writ. Review is not about changing of the status. It's about the question of law only. The High Court can decide only on the question of law. And ordinary people cannot go for review. So now, first of all, the appeal has been made very clear. Anybody can make appeal, number one. Because I have seen there was a passing remark by the High Court. Since High Court has made a passing remark, the tribunals cannot reverse any High Court order or order. Yeah. These days, this oral observation leads to the judgment. Yeah. That is why I'm saying, if they have to go up to the Supreme Court, we are ready to assist.
So that
Yeah.
means they will have to take the legal recourse.
No. Right now, we have changed the entire provisions.
But
If you go back.
at the same time, the amendment says that those petitions or those cases which are currently being tried or in dispute, the status will not be. That is very clear in the amendment.
Because you cannot take away the matter which is sub judice. That is very clear.
I concur with you. There is a provision in the 25 amendment saying that those cases that are pending before the court or any other tribunal will continue.
Yeah.
So that you are agreeing to that. So that means
It is not it is not a question of agreeing. You can't take away the right.
so that the only recourse that is currently available to the residents of Murmam is to fight the case in the court.
Yeah, you have to have the legal basis to fight in the court. Now the provisions are in favor of them.
No, but it's up to the court to decide.
Of course, we can't take over the right of the court, no?
Which right they did not have before this law.
That is, and again they have to go to the tribunal and the High Court.
No, what is the point? Yes, we are agreeing. I am agreeing.
That means the 2025 amendments has in no way benefited the residents of Murmam.
How can you say that?
Fight it out in the court.
No, that is your judgment.
No, because since you know that the Murmam matter has been pending for long, that provision of fighting the case in the court is not overruled.
Technically, what you are saying is right because we cannot take away any matter which is sub judice. That's the reality.
No law, when it's passed by Parliament, can say that a process that is sub judice comes to an end.
You can
The
make
law can be used by those. So therefore, no, your characterization is wrong that it does not help the people of Murmam. When the law is you just said that.
No, I said that as of now, even now, the Murmam residents will have to fight it out in the court.
What is a legal dispute remains a legal dispute, excepting the law is in the favor of those who are fighting the case.
That is up to the court to decide.
No, you are supporting the position, but you are just saying that, or you are expecting that Parliament should pass a law to settle all the cases.
This is a shortcut to the residents of Murmam to get justice.
No, the provisions are conducive to them. I have explained in detail. It will help them. If we have not changed the provisions, if we had let it remain so, then they have no any other course.
Currently, the case is being tried before the tribunal. You have said that you are going to change the tribunal constitution and retired district judges can also become the tribunal members. So will it in any way affect the case that is being held? Right?
It will help them, and when they get the help, you also
How is it going to help them?
you will be happy to see that it will help. And as a matter of fact, if we had not taken this step, the door was closed for them.
Could you kindly explain to me how the reconstitution of the Waqf board or the tribunal is going to help the residents?
Because we had changed the provisions. Now,
How is it going to work for them?
This way, you can't explain it this way. This is not a courtroom.
No, one second. No. I understand that there is a propaganda that has been spread and it is also impacted. No, one second. Let me speak. Please give me some. There is a case, there is an ongoing dispute. As the minister said, the law that has been passed by the parliament shows the intent of parliament vis-a-vis any attempt by the Waqf board to seize private property. The law is clear. The minister has also made clear that in future there will be no repeat. Nobody will have to go bow their heads in front of any Waqf board or any Muslim league in the future. Now, insofar as this dispute is concerned, every court that is adjudicating a dispute, including the Munambam dispute, is aware of what the law is. You are right. If a judge decides to go rogue and say we will ignore the law, that is a dispute. No. But let me finish. I have greatest respect for your knowledge on this. A legal dispute, wherever it is in whatever domain, will not be overturned. When the matter is sub judice in a court, there is no power, nothing that the parliament can do to shortcut, to use your phrase, an existing legal dispute. That is that adjudicating body's responsibility and authority to preside over that adjudication. In this particular case, it is the tribunal and the High Court. However, the tribunal and the High Court, as the Honourable Minister has said, the tribunal will be reconstituted to be much more neutral, much more understanding of the law. And second of all, in any court, if there is an attempt to misread or ignore the law that has been passed by the parliament, the government has at every occasion the ability to implead and clarify what the law is. But to answer your question, is there a magic wand? There was not. Are the people of Munambam closer to a resolution of a dispute in their favor? Yes.
So, Mike, one more question. Since the question that is being tried before the tribunal is based on the 1995 resolution, 1995
Law.
1995 Waqf Act, and it is being tried there. And the government has been brought in a new amendment 2025. So what will be the law applicable to a case that is pending there? Will the law has a retrospective effect, and will 2025 law will become applicable to an offence that happened before the enactment of the law?
Yeah, the retrospective issue is already well explained. Of course, retrospective, in a sense, when the title is clear, there's no question of retrospective effect, right? A settled case is settled case. But Munambam case is not a settled case.